Almost there, so close. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the BAMF podcast. I'm your host, BAMF. Here is your lovable co-host, Jacob Blackmon. How you doing, Jacob?
I'm doing well today. Thank you.
You have shaved.
What's that?
You
I've
removed your facial
shaved.
hair.
I thought you said you have shades, and I was like, what? It was so hot this weekend. Someone coined the term. It's so hot. Throwing shade is now a compliment.
I kind of like that.
I found that funny, and so I thought I'd share that.
That is cool. All right, I'm going to play our theme music because we're a professional operation. All right.
All right.
Look, it went all the way through on that one. It kind of has a cool ending. So. Well, hey, if this is your first time tuning in, this is the BAMF podcast. We talk about comics, RPGs, various other geeky things. And today we're talking about the ROM Omnibus 2. And do you want to touch on Destro as well?
Yep, likely.
Oh, wow. Look at that. I'm going to give Jacob the solo camera layout.
It's a massive book. I was happy and surprised to get this. I still haven't finished ROM the omnibus for ROM Volume 1. I'm still in the middle of that one. It is a dense read, as you can tell. It's pretty thick. And I went to my comic shop last weekend, and they had a ROM Volume 2 ready for me, and said that Volume 3 would likely come sometime in the next 3 or 4 months to follow. Marvel intends to do the entire run of ROM and print them out as omnibus. So I'm very excited about that because I've never gotten to read the ROM comics. They were before I started reading comics. Some of them started before I was even born. So yeah, I am old, but I am not that old.
Yeah, it's been around a long time. It's kind of cool to see them taking this much concern in a character they don't actually own the rights for anymore, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, comic books are being pretty surprising with that. Just take a look at what's going on with G.I. Joe and Transformers. The Skybound imprint. They currently have the Energon universe going on, and they're running a Kickstarter campaign to reprint all the old Marvel G.I. Joe comics. Mm-hmm. And they just announced earlier this week that they will be doing a massive collection of the Transformers Marvel comics as well. So they're apparently sharing everything has become a nice, polite thing within the comics industry. And I like to see it because getting a chance to read these old comics is wonderful. I especially like the ROMs because each volume not only includes the ROM comics, but also the related comics. There's a couple of issues of X-Men in the first Romnibus that fits into the story. So they put everything in there. So the whole ROM story is in there.
Nice. Yeah, I'm scrolling through. There is a lengthy preview available on Amazon. I'll be scrolling through. I just paused here because that's kind of a heartwarming picture of Rom and the ever-loving blue-eyed thing having a moment there. So
yeah, I was taking a look before we got on here. Yeah, that's going to be from the Thing ROM 2-in-1, which is in Volume 2.
Yeah, that's Marvel 2-in-199, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, judging by the table of contents here, so
I think it's pretty funny. The 2-in-1 series was basically who does the Thing team up with this time? Mm-hmm. It's like it's 2-in-1 with the Thing and Scarlet Witch. It's the 2-in-1 with the Thing and Hulk. It's 2-in-1 with the Thing and let's say Doctor Doom this episode.
It's cool. It's classic Bronze Age weirdness.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my favorite Marvel stuff, honestly, is that kind of character driven. The plot's not so important. It's more about these two heroes, having a buddy comedy kind of.
Yeah, I love that. The team books are nice, but and the solo books are nice, but sometimes a good team up gets you more of a look at each character from the eyes of the other that you don't normally see, and it makes for interesting story.
Mm-hmm. It is pretty cool. Well, hey, scrolling through, yeah, it looks. Help me out. I'm gonna look like a bad geek here, but who is this guy here with the wings on his head?
I want to say that's Turbo.
Okay.
Or Torpedo, maybe.
And who is that?
Torpedo. If it's Torpedo, he's a guy who has jet fans on his arms and legs, and as long as he holds himself in like on arms and legs out, like plank position, he jets through the air like a torpedo. He can do that in water as well.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Spoilers for the Omnibus. He suffers a terrible, terrible fate at the hands of the Dire Wraiths. And later there is a new Torpedo that shows up as a character in the New Warriors.
Okay. I did not know that. Here, I thought I knew comics, so you're educating me. But
I pride myself on my Marvel lore. I don't know everything, but my Marvel lore does go pretty deep.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, if you're interested in checking this out, there is, like I said, the preview we got here on Amazon is huge. And it needs to be, because the hardcover is $100. Just the Kindle version, if you want to get that, is about half that. So it's a serious investment, but it's ROM. They're not going to make any more of these. So, well, Marvel ROM anyway. So it's cool stuff. It's fun to check out.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob, I have run out of things to say at the moment, so I'm going to pass the mic over to you.
Okay. Yeah. While ROM no longer technically exists in the Marvel universe, Marvel still has all the rights and everything to everything else they made for the ROM comics. So they still have Space Knights, and they still have Dire Wraiths. All that are still part of their greater cosmology, and they occasionally tap upon it. And I've seen some modern comics that have reintroduced new Space Knights, and they look pretty cool.
Back when Marvel did all those cosmic events a few years ago, with Dan Abnett, he brought the Galador Space Knights were in that. Actually, they were the vehicle that Ultron used to take over the Kree homeworld, if I remember correctly.
I believe so. Yeah.
So yeah, fun stuff. I could scroll through all of this, but at this point, I'm reading this more than showing this off. But I love this Bronze Age art. I really do.
It's also pretty interesting seeing how much influence ROM and the Dire Wraiths had on the rest of the Marvel universe. The government was deeply afraid of the conspiracy of the Dire Wraiths and the fact that they could be anyone. So DARPA was in Marvel was developing weapons to specifically counter Dire Wraiths, trying to emulate ROM's weaponry, because it seemed to be the only thing that could expose and defeat them.
Yeah. Oh, here in the second issue in the Omnibus, we got Rom hanging out with, oh my God, that's Rogue, back when she was in the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Mm-hmm.
So that's there's Blob, wow, that is kind of cool. So
yeah, Rom had a lot of crossover, especially with the X-Men.
Yeah, it's interesting. He was, comics have always been kind of weird, but he was a huge part of Bronze Age Marvel, and just kind of the rights expired, just kind of vanished. So, hey, there's Captain America flashback scene. I don't remember Rum ever kept teaming up with the Avengers, but I wouldn't, I haven't read this thoroughly, so I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Well, hopefully so. But like I said, I'm still reading through it, so we'll find out.
All right, cool. You want to talk about Destro?
Sure.
Okay.
So, as I mentioned earlier, Skybound, which is an Image Comics imprint, is continuing with their Energon universe. The last time Mike and I got together, we were discussing Scarlet, which was the new G.I. Joe themed comic at the time. And since then, they have released the first issue of Destro. The Destro comic takes place immediately after the end of the Cobra Commander comic, because events that take place in it, when the Cobra Commander comic was finishing, they were starting to modify the new battle android troopers that Mars Industry was producing, and they were giving it the power source that Destro was unable to find, which was Energon.
Transformers crossover.
So with his battle android troopers functional, Destro is now in the middle of taking over a third world nation that he's had his eye on for a while, and in the first issue successfully does so, places one of his minions as the new dictator, and spends the rest of the issue setting up an illegal weapons deal, basically inviting corporate heads, wealthy CEOs from all over the world, terrorist leaders, wealthy princes from other third world nations, whoever is looking to get the next newest weapons before anyone else. He's set up this little illegal demonstration for all the newest weapons available. Secretly, Destro is doing this to see if anyone else has caught on to the new energy source that he has access to, Energon.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the real reason behind this all, and it's very interesting to read.
That is pretty cool, and that's a nice way to tie in, Transformers with G.I. Joe, because otherwise there's not a lot of, not a lot of common ground there. But if you make the bats into, Energon-powered robots, there's some connectivity there.
Mm-hmm.
So
and Destro has even more Transformers crossover because of the people that show up. There is a prominent secondary character in the first issue who is a noteworthy, if not well-known, character from the Transformers franchise. Her name is Astoria Carlton Ritz. She is the new CEO of Hybrid Technologies. Mm-hmm. And in the Transformers original 1980s cartoon, she is from the episode called The Girl Who Loved Powerglide.
Wow. I did not know that.
Now,
pretty cool.
She is written as a more fleshed out and interesting character in Destro than she was in that one, where she was just kind of a spoiled, vapid 20-something who just wanted to go out and have fun and be entertained, and didn't really care about her responsibilities or her company. This is a much more interesting character, and I look forward to seeing more of her in the series.
Sweet. So where is Skybound going with this? We've got, a shared universe between G.I. Joe, Transformers, and I want to say a couple of other books. Do you think they have an end game? Do you think they're building towards a big? Of course, it's comics. There's a big event somewhere, right?
I imagine there's going to be a big event somewhere. Yes, there. I imagine there will be a massive G.I. Joe Transformers crossover, as there has been in the past. But right now, they're pretty much setting up their universe. Both the Autobots and Decepticons in the Transformers comic are trying to get a foothold and build their armies, rebuild their forces, while at the same time having to fight off attacks from either factions, because there's times where the Decepticons are trying to regroup, the Autobots are trying to regroup. It is a huge back and forth throughout that entire series. Meanwhile, G.I. Joe is not technically formed yet. All the people who we are familiar with are getting into positions of play, but Cobra technically is just now forming. It doesn't quite exist yet, and it is all the pieces are moving onto the board, but the game is not yet set, as it were. I imagine once all the factions make themselves known, then we will have more of the crossover that we're looking for. But in the meantime, I'm really enjoying the story. All of the story has been wonderful. Yeah.
Cool. Interesting stuff. Well, let's do a show tomorrow. What are you going to talk about tomorrow?
Oh my! I could talk about quite a few things. I'm enjoying the Acolyte, like the new Star Wars series.
You like the Acolyte?
Yeah, I love the Acolyte. I know there's a lot of hate, but I'm not among them. I just received a copy of the Tales from the Valiant from Cobalt Press, so I can talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
I know you and I have recently received our Kickstarter copies of a fun little game called
Eat the Reich.
Eat the Reich. Yes.
I was reading a review of this on the RPG site, and the guy was upset that they weren't sensitive enough about Nazis' feelings. A game called Eat the Reich, and the sales pitch was literally coffin drop into Paris, kill a bunch of Nazis, and drink all of Hitler's blood.
Yes, you're playing vampires tasked to drink all of Hitler's blood, not a drop left behind.
Some folks were very upset that it was a little too political.
Oh no!
Yeah,
a game where I get to kill Nazis and not feel bad. Sign me up.
Yeah, I didn't. As a younger man, I might have waded into that comment section and gone, well, then you probably shouldn't watch these movies. Indiana Jones franchise, stay away from it. Wolfenstein, just going to want to avoid that one. Blues Brothers, Inglorious Bastards, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, the whole Wolfenstein franchise. These were also ruffle your sensitive feathers, but I didn't do that because I'm an old man now, and old men don't have the time to have internet arguments. Our impending mortality weighs too heavily for that. But
yeah.
All right, so hey, let's talk about Tales of the Valiant and Eat the Reich tomorrow. All right, how
fantastic.
About that? Sounds
good.
Like
a good time.
All right, folks. I see we got some viewers. Thanks for tuning into the BAMF podcast, and we will see you same time, same channel tomorrow night for Tales of the Valiant and Eat the Reich.
Yeah.